to them very quickly. Listen, last night I said, and I got to say this. I don't want to say I lied to you. I said I was not talking about turnovers anymore. Well, here's the truth. I lied. I got to talk about it one more time. Because if you allow this to continue, that meaning the turnovers, if you allow the turnovers to continue, what have you been working on? From a coaching staff and as a player, what have you been working on? You got to limit your turnovers to at least only being one. I've come to the notion, in which I told you last night, I've come to the notion I am just going to assume that LSU is going to turn over the ball at least twice every game that they play in. That's the assumption that I'm going to have. Until they prove me otherwise that they're not going to do it, the assumption that it will always have for the rest of this season is that you're at least going to have two. But the reason I'm bringing this up is not necessarily to talk about Nuss and the turnovers and stuff like that. The reason I'm bringing it up is for what Florida can do to you based off of that. Meaning, Gus, you had a team in Georgia a couple of weeks ago against Florida who turned the ball over 3 times. And what did Billy Napier do? He played keep away. They were in a one-score game, in a rivalry game, on the road, technically in a neutral site. And with 1 minute and 9 seconds left to go, it was a one-score game. Blake, they got blown out by Texas last week. Yeah, the Texas game is kind of a for me. And the reason it's a for me is mainly due to the reason because they were with a third-string quarterback, and DJ Lagway was not there. I barely, outside of defensive stuff this week, I barely watched Aiden Warner play, the backup quarterback. I saw some of the things that he did. I saw some of the throws, and look, he can sling it a little bit, ironically. He looks like a kid that should be playing quarterback in the FCS level. Defensively is mainly what I watch, and I prepare for DJ Lagway because I can do that. Now, Brian Kelly and Blake Baker and all those guys, they don't have a choice. They got to prepare for both, but I don't get paid $2.5 million to be prepared for both. But DJ Lagway did some really good things against a better defense in Georgia than I think that I expected. The numbers and the stats do not play out how good that young man was playing. They don't. They legitimately don't. If you have turnovers, you're playing into the hands of Billy Napier. Because Billy's philosophy is run heavy, jet sweep, play action, deep shot. That is what they want to do. And a quarterback that can move a little bit is what DJ Lagway can do. He can move a little bit. And if I'm assuming that he is playing, his hamstrings got to feel about 80% plus. I worry about the turnovers more so in this game, not because of your offense, but just mainly due to the fact, golly, man, if you let them, let's say they put together a couple of drives, which I think that they can put together a couple of drives on you if Lagway is in the game. And if that's sustained and they chew the clock, exactly what they did against Georgia, exactly what they did against Tennessee, guys, you're in trouble. And when I mean trouble, let me retract that. You're in a dogfight. I was not going to talk about Brian Kelly's press conference. And this is really the only comment that I was going to say on it anyway, so might as well bring it up here. In Brian Kelly's press conference today, he said, and I quote, I spent a lot of time with Garrett Nussmeier this week. You better watch the game because the way that he's prepared, I think that he's going to have a heck of a game. Okay. That means no turnovers. And if you do have a turnover, that means that you have one and you get baited and it was a good play by Florida defensively. No more of the boneheaded stuff. No more. 20 turnovers in 27 games is abysmal. It's abysmal. I'm not trying to give myself an attaboy, but guys, I am tired of, and I really am, I'm tired of the Miles Brennan. I don't think he looks good. I don't think he's ready enough. And you arguing with me. And I'm tired of the turnover argument. I'm tired of talking about it. It's got to change. If it doesn't change, guys, how you've been in some of these games, how you've won some of these games without him is really a true testament to coaching staff. Really. It really is. You got to live up to Brian Kelly's words this week. I know he's using the media to gain confidence around Garrett. I know what he's doing. Man, if you turn the ball over this week, you will be in a dogfight exactly the way that Tennessee was. You will. You're not a better overall team than Tennessee right now. You're not. You're not. And they were in a dogfight with them. Man, you're capable of so much more as a team. I know that you are. You're just not living up to it. That's the thing that bothers me. And turnovers are a big deal in that. Number 2, listen, Florida is going to play off coverage. They have all year. The biggest advantage that LSU has this week is your wide receivers versus Florida DBs. Guys, it's a Ron Roberts special. He likes off coverage. They want you to nickel and dime them. They are beat up in their secondary. Vastly beat up. Vastly beat up. You got to go full Arkansas on them. If they are going to give you that much room, you have to make them pay. Why we got away from? Because it's not as if, it legitimately is not as if that we haven't had situations where teams are playing off coverage on us. They have. Why we don't go to simple slant, hitch, go. Slant, double move. Slant and go. See what happens. I don't know then. I don't know why we're not trying to complete those. You need to do that this week. Because if first play from the line of scrimmage, I would go trips right, Kyron Lacey on the far left boundary, and if they're playing off coverage, I would throw a hitch. I 1,000% would. Because if they want to play soft, if they want to play cushion, get the yardage. Nuss is better when he is in a rhythm. That is scientifically proven at this point. The more completions that you give him early, the better he is. You know how I know that? Mike Denbrock's how I know that. I went back today and looked at all of the games that Garrett played in under Mike Denbrock. You know the first thing that he did? Literally the first thing that he did. Within the first 3 passes of Garrett ever coming into a game, he threw a hitch, a check down, or a slant. Literally. Getting him in the rhythm of the game. And then they start taking deep shots. But he would make sure, meaning Mike, If I got a dude that's got a bazooka of an arm, I am going to make you come up and play me tight. Then I'm going to start taking shots deep. Garrett's got to have the foresight this week to know, listen, they are going to back out and try to tackle us. Now, they will send some pressure. They will send some heat. He's got to throw into the pressure this week because once pressure comes from Ron Roberts, there will be gaping holes, that's what she said, all over the place if you start checking it down. Get yak yardage. Get yak yardage. Yards have to catch yardage. You know what I mean. That is what Ron has done his entire career. If they come up and play tight coverage on you, that means they're daring you to throw the ball deep. That they don't think that you got team speed. And then you got to make them pay. Brian Kelly said this again today too. He was asked about Trey'Dez Green getting the ball more, which why that question continues to be asked, I don't know. You're not getting Mason Taylor the ball enough, and we're worried about Trey'Dez Green. You didn't target Aaron Anderson into the third quarter, which I'm so happy that Brian Kelly acknowledged that you did not get him a target until the third quarter. That is ludicrous. That is ludicrous. It's going to be there this week, man. It's been there every week for every opponent that's played Florida. If they change something up on you, my God, you got to make them pay. They are beat up in their secondary. So, man, please, dear Lord up above, please, dear Lord, give us some throws early. Check the ball. Guys, if you throw the ball 15 to 17 times, 10 yards or less, I swear to God, I'm going to be so happy. I feel like Nuss is better when you're giving him give him two options. I know he got picked off on the hitch route a couple of weeks ago. Who gives a shit? It's better than what's been happening in other situations. Give him 3 reads and let him get out of there. Move him a little. We're making him sit there. There are so many things that we could do here in reference to move him right, 1-2 or run. Give him the option. Give him the option. All right, number 3. Gus, I know that we have not been able to run the ball, but it doesn't stop the fact that we're 130th in the country in running plays in general. Because you have success on outside zones. You have success on getting Caden Durham the football on the outside. If you're running the ball for 3 yards a carry, then run the ball for 3 yards a carry. You're trying to run it inside with Chester, Mabanga, and Miles Frazier. It just is not working. If your run game's got to be one-dimensional, then you got to be creative in the sense of like what you did with Xavier Thomas a week ago. Here's another thing. I'm going to keep saying this every single week. I would try to convince Xavier Thomas to get more carries out of the backfield. If that's got to be your running game, then so be it. Because Xavier has run in between the tackles some, and every time he comes in, he gives you a little burst of 5 yards. Well, do it more. Ask him, will you be a UT? Look, we will get you the ball. It might be through you having to carry it some. I don't know if he doesn't want to do that or what, but you're still getting him the ball. Get that young man the ball in space. Like, for example, I know you don't really want to run reverses a lot, but after Xavier Thomas got an 11-yard run, why didn't you not come back to it later in the drive at least? Or later in the game. I know that you're down. So what? You're down, what was it? You're down 35-6. What does it matter at that point? Guys, when it was 35-6, or 35-3, whatever it was, I forget the score now. I stopped taking notes. Like, I take notes for every play. I stopped taking them. Why we're not getting back to that, I don't know. But outside zone, man, you're running over 5 yards to carry on outside zone. Then make them stop it. If a team can, if you're having that amount of success, do it. Do it. You got to run the ball more. Even if it is for 2 yards and you're getting this is my mindset. I feel like we're pressing way too much. And if we run the ball on first down and get 2 yards, we're not coming back to it on 2nd and 8. If we miss a pass on first down, we're 100% running the football. Everybody knows that. Instead of on first down, we can run the ball on back-to-back plays. We're not immune to running the ball on back-to-back plays. We haven't done it much this year. Like in the beginning of the games, we have not done that much at all. Let's say you get 2 yards on 2 straight carries. So it's 3rd and 6 instead of 3rd and 10. It's a big difference. It's a bigger difference. But you have to keep teams honest. You have to. We have been immune to, if a run doesn't work, we're not going back to it. And that's just, I mean, guys, think of how many times defensively, because this happened a lot this year, where teams have tried to just line it up and run it on you, and you've stopped the running backs. Most times at the line of scrimmage or for 2 yards. Just go watch the A&M game and the success that you had there. I think you're going to have success running the ball on them, and I've told you this week, and I will continue. I will continue. If you are unable to run the ball on this team this year, I don't know, man. I mean, they are so bad defending the run. They're 93rd for a reason. They're not better defending you throwing the ball around either. You got to stick with it, man. You got to stick with it. All right, number 4. I want to see rotational differences or other guys starting defensively. Not because of bad play, but because of effort. I think you still got to roll out there and look, I would put Javian Toviano at the star this week. See what happens. Starting, see what happens. I know the effort will be there. That kid gives a lot of effort. If he messes up, well, then by God, he messes up. Everybody else is messing up. So what's the difference? I think you need a rotated safety. They're not going to do it with Sage, I don't think. You can do it for Major. And if Deshaun McBride messes up, give him 3 plays that you want him to rotate in for. Hey, these are the 3 that you got to know. Got to get Deshaun Spears in the game. Is there another safety that you can get playing time to? Because that safety is not good. The reason why I do think that you need somebody at that star position this week that can tackle, and I don't know if that's Javian Toviano. I don't know if that's him or not. Guys, I think that if the way that you run your stuff defensively and you're basically putting 3 safeties on the field and basically a 3rd linebacker on the field in that safety, then they're going to run the ball at you, and you're going to try to put 7, sometimes 8 guys in the box. You need somebody in that position that wants to come in and tackle. and that for 4 quarters will come up and make tackles. I'm not going to excuse any player for lack of effort. And that's what we saw a lot of times from the safety room last week when Jalen Milroe started running and he broke through the first line of scrimmage, and he broke through the first wave of defenders. Your effort was piss poor. I mean, let's call it what it is. The only one I wouldn't bench would be Jordan Gilbert. Because I can live with, I vehemently can live with you just not being good enough to make the play, and you're giving me tons and tons of effort. Okay, man. Fine by me. I'm with you. I can ride with that. What I cannot live with, or what I cannot see, is that you just go out there and make business decisions with a playoff on the line. That's situational awareness of not knowing what you need to do. So, yeah. Rotate them. If you have somebody at center, maybe you're trying to work somebody in, rotate them in, I guess. See what happens. Rotate at linebacker. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I'm trying everything. Florida ran the Wildcat a lot last week and had success. If Billy Napier has a brain, which I think that he does, if he has a brain, then he will do it again and make you stop it. DJ Lagway doesn't need to be running. Let's go Wildcat and see what happens. If I'm Billy Napier, I am 1,000% lining up in Wildcat first drive. Let's see what happens. Now, I think LSU will know that what they're doing, maybe they can stop it, and just knowing for 100% fact that the guy at quarterback or is lined up at quarterback is not going to throw the ball. Maybe their discipline and assignments will get better, but I'd still make them stop it. A dude that can run at quarterback, I'd 1,000% make them do it. Or what I would do at minimum is run zone reads and give the ball anyway and act like we're running with the quarterback. Or just ask DJ, hey, man, on the first play, can we run a zone read? Are you good enough to do that? And then just let's see what happens. Don't get hurt. Get down. Don't take a hit. I can't believe that we're talking about an LSU team that's lacking in effort. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. All right, last but not least, number 5. I'm really wondering where the mental space is and the mental headspace this team is in after losing the last 6 quarters the way they are. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Blake, why is this a key to victory? Because you're going to have to show that you still want this, that you still want to win. You're going to have to show that. You're going to have to show that this place to you matters. You're going to have to show that football matters. Now, you might not want to do it for LSU, and that's fine. You might not want to do it for your coach. That's okay. But some of you need to do it for you because this is the last time that you're ever going to play football. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean or anything. Everybody that's in this chat right now has come in their life or in their lives have had a last real game before. High school, college, maybe if there's any of you out there that's been in the pros and you're retired, you know that this game comes to an end. And the best piece of advice that I ever got was, hey, when there's going to be a day that all of this is going to be over. And now I understand. Now I understand what so many people were trying to teach me about, hey, man, this is the best time of your life. You get to play a kid's sport. Keep going after it. Keep working for it. Are you in that mental space of like, hey, man, no matter what happens in this game, I'm going to go out on my shield. No matter what happens, I'm going to give you everything that I got. And that doesn't start in game either. That starts in January when you're in the weight room. But it's hard to mentally flip that switch then like it is right now. You can't change the past, but you can control the future. This week I tweeted it out because everybody was going out there tweeting out playoff odds, okay? And I got into the mix twice. The first tweet that I put out was, guys, I know that there's a mathematical chance, and there is a mathematical chance that you can. I'm not talking about that. I know the scenarios and like, yeah, if we can get there, why wouldn't I want LSU to make an SEC championship game? I want them to. I don't think it's realistically close to being possible until you can show me that you can play better. That's how I feel. It might not be how you feel. You might be more optimistic than I am. But regardless if you are more optimistic or you're not more optimistic or you're pessimistic, maybe you think I'm the Grinch. Oh, look at this Scrooge. Christmas right around the corner. But where is your mental head at? I know you still got things that you got to play for. All of that's got to go down the commode. Twirling around in the turd bowl all the way down the sewage pipes. You got to let that go. Play free. Play like this is the last game that you're ever going to play because you never know. So a key to victory, I hope that these guys are locked in. I really don't know if they are because last week a lot of them weren't locked in. They weren't locked in. How are you in a game where everything's on the line and you're not locked in? So I hope Brian Kelly can rally his troops. I hope that Brian Kelly can rally his team. It would make you feel a lot better to get a win. I'm going to say what I said the last 2 weeks. You're going to find out a lot about Brian Kelly's team culture. You're going to find out a lot about that locker room this week. And if it's good to sustain, it will sustain. If it's not good enough to sustain, it won't.